Today, we're going to dive into something pretty amazing, the web of life. We're going to explore how nature builds its homes and how every single living thing, I'm talking from the tiniest bug to the biggest whale, is connected in ways you might never have even thought of.
So here's a question for you. What do a fish, a cactus, and a monkey all have in common? Yeah, it sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, right? I mean, they seem like they're from completely different worlds, but they all share one huge, fundamental thing. Every single one of them needs a specific kind of home, an environment that's just right for it. So let's start right there with the idea of a home. Every living thing, absolutely everything, needs a place that gives it what it needs to survive. And scientists have a word for that perfect place. They call it a habitat. Now, a habitat isn't just a house. It's way more than that. It's a complete life support system. Think of it like a very specific address in the wild where an organism is perfectly designed to live. So what exactly does this system provide? Well, it really boils down to these four critical things, these pillars of survival. A habitat has to provide the absolute basics: food to eat, water to drink, and oxygen to breathe. But just as important is that fourth pillar, safety. This means having shelter from rough weather, a safe place to raise your kids, and protection from predators. You gotta have all four, or life just can't happen there. And because our planet is so incredibly diverse, it is just packed with all kinds of these natural neighborhoods. I mean, from the bottom of the ocean to the top of a mountain, Earth is this incredible patchwork of different habitats, and each one has its own special residence.
And this just shows you that perfect match between a place and the things that live there. So in the water, you've got a clear split, right? Freshwater rivers are home to frogs and hippos, but saltwater oceans, that's where you'll find whales and dolphins. Now, jump over to the desert. Super hot, hardly any rain. Of course, you're going to find plants like cacti, which are masters at storing water. Or look at the grasslands. These huge, open spaces are perfect for animals like wildebeest and giraffes. And then the forest, with all its trees, is the ideal home for monkeys and squirrels. See? Every organism is a specialist, perfectly built for its environment.
So this whole idea of belonging is absolutely crucial. Just like people, every plant and animal has a place that it originally comes from. And figuring out who's a local and who's a newcomer is a really big deal for the health of any habitat. And this brings us to a really important difference between native and exotic species. A native species, like the springbok, has been there forever. It evolved in that place over thousands of years. It's part of the local team. But an exotic species, that's a transplant. It's been brought in from somewhere else entirely, like the eucalyptus tree, which is actually from Australia. Now, here's the thing. Being exotic isn't automatically a bad thing, but it can become a massive problem when that newcomer turns into an invader. And this happens when an exotic species shows up in a new home where it has zero natural enemies to keep it in check.
The eucalyptus tree is a perfect case study of this going wrong. In South Africa, it doesn't have any of the pests or diseases that would control it back in Australia. So what happens? It grows like crazy, and its roots are incredibly thirsty. They just suck up enormous amounts of water from the ground, basically stealing it from all the native plants. This one single species can throw the entire local balance completely out of whack, causing the native plants to just wither and die.
And all of this really points to one of the most fundamental truths about nature. Nothing, and I mean nothing, exists all by itself. Every single species in a habitat is connected to others in this incredibly complex web of relationships, which brings us to our next point. The scientific word for this is interdependence. It's this simple but powerful idea that species actually lean on each other to survive. They form these amazing partnerships and rely on one another for things like food, protection, and sometimes for their very existence. Okay, let's start with a classic example from the grasslands. This is a relationship that's so perfect, it's almost like one animal hired the other to be its personal bodyguard. So you've got the tick bird and the buffalo. It's a simple deal. The tick bird gets an all-you-can-eat buffet of ticks and other parasites right off the buffalo's back. And what does the buffalo get? A fantastic pest control service that keeps it healthy and clean. It is a perfect win-win situation, a beautiful example of interdependence where both sides come out on top. All right, now let's dive underwater for another one of these incredible partnerships. This one is between a little fish and a creature that's actually deadly to almost everything else around it. Okay, so the sea anemone, it has these powerful stinging tentacles that it uses to catch its prey. But the clownfish, for some reason, it's totally immune. It can swim right in and use the anemone like a fortress, completely safe from predators. So what does the anemone get out of the deal? Well, the clownfish's waste actually provides it with essential nutrients. So in a way, the roommate helps feed the house. It's another brilliant partnership. But here's where it gets even deeper. This web of connections, it isn't just between the living things. No, it goes further than that, connecting every single organism to the non-living world all around it. I mean, just stop and think about it. Life as we know it would be completely impossible without these non-living things. Plants need sunlight for energy and soil to put down roots. Animals need water to drink and rocks or burrows for shelter. The very air we breathe provides the oxygen and carbon dioxide that fuels this entire system. These things are the absolute foundations of every single habitat on Earth.
And here is where it all just clicks together perfectly. Let's talk about the humble earthworm. It's a living creature, right? But its entire life's work is all about taking care of a non-living thing, the soil. By tunneling around, it brings air into the earth. Its waste is a powerful natural fertilizer. This one little creature is this vital link, keeping the soil healthy so plants can grow, and those plants, in turn, feed countless other animals. It's the perfect picture of this unbreakable web.
So, all of this leaves us with one last big thought. We've seen how everything is connected, the animals, the plants, the soil, the water. Each one is like a single thread in this giant, beautiful, complicated web. So what do you think happens to the whole picture when we start pulling those threads out?